Hello and welcome, Lynx here. And as you may know, it is a spooky month. And let's just say that deaths on each that you are going wild. There's so many games. I've also done a stupid thing of going through all the devs I've been following, downloading more games, which already increased the number from 18 to 45. But I'm also going through new releases, and this was one of them. Imago Dirge. Let's check it out. I know, I'm captivated by this main menu, to be honest. I think that's also the peak which got my attention on each page. Let's go. You wake up to darkness. Your body feels stiff and heavy. You cannot move. Something feels wrong. Very, very wrong. Go back to sleep, open your eyes, move your hands. Let's open eyes first. You open your eyes, you see flecks of light in an ocean of red and nothing more. I guess move your hands then. You start small, trying to move your fingers. As you twitch your fingers, you feel them come into the contact with something. It's rigid but thin and paper-like. It breaks with a sticking crack as you forcefully curl your fingers into a fist. Oh. That's surprisingly, easy to break? You finally feel the air hitting your fingers. The cold morning air against your wet hands making you shiver. It is only then that you realize that you couldn't breathe. What? You try to inhale, but there is only water in your lungs. What? Oh, time limit. Struggle. You force your body to move, each motion followed by a horrendous ripping sound. Struggle. You struggle with your whole body trying to claw. Okay, struggle. You struggle. You struggle. You struggle. There is nothing else to do but struggle. Thankfully, your struggles proved to be fruitful. I totally tried to, speed it up. Well, because of obvious reason. There being a time limit. Alright. You break free from the mysterious membrane, the air finally filling your lungs. Those first breaths, few breaths, hurt like hell, but you're breathing and you're alive. You feel the cold morning air hit your wet body. It's cold. And as your eyes adjust to the light, you see your hands underneath you. A mass of red with little pieces of skin hanging onto them. You feel acid rising into your throat? Oh, did we become a monster? You stumble out of bed clumsy like a fawn learning to stand for the first time. And you drag your body to the bathroom. It seems like it. You puke into the sink. Disoriented and disgusted, you close your eyes for a moment before you hear a knocking from the bedroom door. Rise and shine, you sleepyhead! It's your mom, waking you up as she usually does. Would be nice. Get help. Hide. I don't get help. Desperate for the help, you scramble for the door. You quickly walk towards the door, all the while trying to tell her what had happened. Your head is hovering by the door handle when you realize that no voice has left your mouth. You hold. Instinctively touching your face, only to realize that your mouth can no longer vocalize like it used to. Oh, come on now. You hear the door open. The eye. You slam it back shut with all the force in your body, but it's too late. What the hell is that?
What happened?
No. Oh God, what did I do to deserve this?
What's happening?
No, our child! A monster, no! Among the sobbing noises, you hear your dad rising from his seat and coming closer. He tries the door not once and then twice. You do your best to keep it shut.
Oi! Open up! Open door before I...
Can the thing even understand us? Ouch. Being called a thing by your own little sister kinda hurts, actually.
Open up before I knock this door down!
You hear him walk away before running back and slamming the door, trying to get it open. You do your best to keep the door closed, but he slams his way in anyway. It's hard to tell whether it's the fear or the aftershock of the impact that leaves your head ringing.
The thing! That's not my son!
This... What the hell is this?
You stumble backwards, trying to scamper away, but he grabs you anyway.
You! What did you do to my son?
You struggle against his grab.
What did you do to him?
Perhaps it's the panic, perhaps it's the fear.
You freaking vermin, you!
There was some text earlier, Wait, I can just enter history, can't I?
Did you kill him, you piece of shite?
But your newborn hands barely scratch the surface of his skin.
I'll kill you!
Is this my brother?
Surprised at your sister's words, his hands faltered and you free yourself from his grasp. You take his chance to scamper away and hide under the bed.
What do you mean?
This is his skin. There's no blood or anything for, so is that?
You watch as your dad look at the piece of skin on your bed, I think. You hear the rustling sound as he takes the last remnants of the human with a sorrow in his eyes and drags himself out of the room.
No! My son! My poor son!
What happened to him?
My son, he's gone. He's really gone.
So the truth is...
She closes the door behind her before the muffled cries start beyond the door. Cool. You carefully inch closer to the door, hoping to eavesdrop on the conversation. But all you can hear is just incoherent cries. And then finally quiet. You hear quiet rustling here and there, unenthusiastic clinks of silverware, followed by some awkward mumbling. And then a series of footsteps coming closer and closer. You quickly move away from the door, preparing for the worst. But instead, a hand holding a plate of food appears.
Hi, I'm guessing you wouldn't want to eat with us after all that. So I guess I'll just leave this here.
Her words trail off awkwardly as she closes the door behind her. You hear quiet shuffling and mumbling from outside the door, the air heavy with tension. It is not long until you hear the rattle and click of the front door, find that you can finally breathe a sigh of relief. Now that you are home alone, what do you do? I guess let's start with the food. You examine the plate of fruits sister left behind. Toast with butter and sugar. Some fruits, a serving of yogurt and honey. However, you find that the taste isn't quite like you have expected. It's also bland. The yogurt is nice for at least. You were given toast with butter. To be fair, that's pretty good. I especially if you are a weirdo like me who doesn't use butter that often. It's so good, like just toast with butter and then. Anyway, however, you start finding it difficult to eat, but you force it down your gullet anyway. Maybe your appetite's just been ruined after all that's happened this morning. I mean, let's not forget you also did throw up, so... Can't say food is the best after throwing up. Check for injuries? Yuck. You check yourself for any injuries. Unsurprisingly, your body contains no braces. That doesn't mean being shoved around like that didn't hurt for. Look at your seemingly chitinous skin, you wonder if you can get injuries at all. Not that you'd like to find out, of course. Yeah, that's true. Do some work, I guess? Are you serious? Work? Right now? Well, you still need to train your research paper, I guess. But is there a point to doing this when you're probably not even human anymore? Can you even still attend college like this? I mean, remotely. Why not? Leave the room or step it off. Let's go leave the room. Well, there is not much else to do in this room. It doesn't seem like your family is particularly excited to be around you while you look like this. So if you want to leave your room, this is your chance, I guess. Thankfully, your sister has been kind enough to leave the door unlocked. You step out of your room, this morning's event still lingering in your mind. After all that, this place no longer feels like home. Where do you go from here? Okay. Totally going to use all the safe spots. Let's go living room. You walk past the kitchen and to the series of couches next to it. On the sofa, you see the piece of molted skin left behind. Oh, I mean, okay, they mentioned that there was skin of him once. Wait a second. Do you think we literally look as, you know, our look is as if we had our skin taken off? That's not a very attractive prospect of what we look like in this game. Oh boy. Examine closely, it really looks like you. Well, it looked like you before all this happened, at least. It's a little disturbing, like seeing yourself in a broken mirror, except you can feel the texture of skin and all of that. Its face is peaceful, for the most part, if you ignore its torn pieces. Get rid of it. Want to go back how I was, I'll just leave it alone. I mean, if it was me, I guess I would say this one, the second option. Looking at it fills you with a deep longing. If only you were still normal. If only you were still human. You feel regret, having taken your family's affections for granted. Why wouldn't you just live as a normal and happy family? As a normal and happy child? Why must you transform into this hideous creature? You hold on this piece of you, wishing you could crawl back into it. But even if you could, your family already knows that you aren't one of them. Still, one can only hope. You hold on to the piece of skin, holding it gently as not to ruin it any more than you have. Dining area. You head to the dining area right next to the living room. The dishes are mostly untouched. No one would be enthusiastic about breakfast after all of that. Kind of understandable, yeah. It is then that you notice that the rest of your family have always had a sweet breakfast. You yourself always preferred a more savory kind, with eggs and bacon and hash browns. Have you always been that different from them? There is really not much else to see here, and you really don't feel like cleaning up after the rest of your family. Huh. Oh, I kind of skipped one. Okay, whatever. Master bedroom. You decide to go into the master bedroom. It's neat, unlike your own disheveled room. On one of the shelves is a family photo during your high school graduation. Looking back, it makes you feel uncomfortable. To think they turned on your back like that so quickly when they lovingly hugged you like that just a few years back. You understand, of course, that you're no longer that same child they loved and cared for. You can't help wonder if that was all just a lie. But it is undeniable that those years were some of the happiest in your life. Yeah. You look at the framed picture in your hands and contemplate taking it. Are you afraid of forgetting yourself? Forgetting that you were once human? Yeah, take it. Nostalgia grips you as you hold a picture of your old life. You wish things were in the way they are now. Why couldn't things just stay as they were? You take the picture with you, hoping that your family does not notice nor mind. To the sister's room. Your sister was the only one really kind enough to bring you breakfast. I wonder how long that will last. Will she run out of patience? Was it just an impulsive moment of charity? It's hard to tell how fickle her affections is, but you are still grateful for her help. Yeah? You enter her room and look around for a little bit. It's tidy. Eerily so. She's always been organized, prim and proper, a straight A kid through and through. You find a small stack of sticky notes on her desk. You want to write her a note. Yeah. Even it was a matter of convenience, so she doesn't need to see you. You still appreciate her bringing you some food when even your parents won't. You can write her a thank you note, I guess. You struggle with the pen, unused to the hard surface of your skin. The clothed fingertips don't help either. Still, you manage to write out a pathetic little thank and sing it on her desk. With nothing else to do, you walk back outside. And you go back inside. You feel uncomfortable going out and about all of this for too long, not knowing when any of them are going to come home. So quietly you slink back to your room to rest. You bring back the framed picture and place it by your bed, feeling only slightly guilty for swiping it. You cannot help but look at it once again, the feeling of longing returning to you the longer you stare. Carrying it as gently as you can, you carry the cocoon in your arms and lay it on the chair by your bed. You took it. You're not sure what you're trying to achieve doing this. Perhaps you're a little attached to your past self, perhaps it's something else. Regardless, it watches you by your bedside. Either way, you lay on your bed, carried like a fetus. Exhaustion takes you as you drift into sleep. Dude, what a crazy situation. It's funny how stuff like that makes you like some sort of wonder, wait, what if that happened? What if that actually happened? You waken up from your nap with several knocks on the door. Grudgingly, albeit cautiously, you approach the door, opening a small slit. Your sister peeks through.
Did you write that note?
You nod slowly. You move away from the door, giving her some space. She reaches for your partially eaten dishes, probably thinking of cleaning it up. And then she peeks in again, staring at you for a few moments, unspeaking. It's hard to tell what she was thinking. You wait nervously for her to do something. She throws a glance at the skin you brought back with you.
Oh, that's where it was. I was wondering.
You nod awkwardly before shrugging.
So, you do understand us still? Well, that makes sense, and at least you can still understand me when I talk. But no speaking?
You shake your head, awkwardly pointing at your mouth, opening and closing it a few times.
Well, yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
Oh, she walks into the room with a little more confidence now. She a cutie.
I guess I'm pretty relieved that we can communicate at least. Well, kinda. Do you remember anything?
You nod once, briefly wondering if it would be better if you didn't.
So, do you remember me?
Yeah? You nod your head slightly.
Okay. So, you're really my brother, right?
Yeah? You nod once again. Is she suspicious of you? Well, granted, you look nothing like you used to, but still.
So anyway, I did ask if you could help me with my homework yesterday. You're still gonna help with it, right?
Wait a second. But, okay, it's good that we went through all the rooms and so on. I feel like, given that he said that she might be testing you, I think she's testing you right now, so... Not to mention, we know that she's straight A student from the fact that we walked around their house, right? You know, let's go with, did she ask that? You don't recall anything like that. She never asked for your help with homework before. Is she testing you? You tilted your head at the question.
Wait, no! It wasn't you who I asked. Well, that's fine.
She smiled at you, a smile that makes you a tad bit uneasy, but you shrug it off.
Well, either way, good to know that you can still, understand us. Not ideal, but we still can communicate. By writing, I guess.
Not being able to talk sucks ass. Good enough, I'm happy with this. Oh. I mean, let's look at the positives, I guess. It's better than nothing at all, indeed. There is more to communication outside talking, of course. Writing, body language. You are sure that you'll be okay even without verbal communication.
Anyway, I'll go prep for dinner, I guess. Glad we cleared things up for.
Now that she's out of the room, you are once again left to your own devices. You hear the clattering of dishes outside. It seems that your sister is doing the dishes. Usually you'd help her make dinner before your parents get home. But should you? The question is it possible for us to keep things the same way? You know what? Let's go. I don't think she'll want me to. I don't think it's quite okay for you to go out and about just yet. Wouldn't she be uncomfortable with you going out and about like this? You decide against going out and help her out maybe once or rather if they get used to seeing you like this. Instead you choose to stay in the room. You wait around in the room with not much to do. Thankfully it isn't long before you hear the front door opening followed by the 2 pairs of footsteps. Incoherent mumbling fills the halls outside as does the clinking of silverware. You wonder if they'd be okay with you eating with them. Probably not after this morning's reaction. Either way you wait in the room for anything to happen. Some sort of clarity I hope on where to go from here. Yeah, you press your ear to the door, listening in on them in the dining room.
I hope it's not too scary being home alone with that thing. You did keep the door locked, yes?
It's fine, nothing happened. Is it really my mother for?
It's not too better, of course that.
Yeah, we don't even know if he can understand us or not. It really doesn't feel like him anymore.
Is there no way to bring him back? Like maybe if we... Just stop. But like, what if we just remind him that he was human?
That thing was never human in the first place.
But...
Dad, just stop.
They eat dinner quietly, not another word being muttered. It is followed by the sound of a door closing and then too. You feel even more isolated than this morning. You start to wonder if maybe you should have reached out to your sister or something. You quietly eat your meal, hoping that nothing else will happen. However, you once again feel footsteps approach, heavier this time. Waiting for a moment and hearing nothing, you creep closer. Curious, you open the door to look. It's your dad. He steps back in surprise, and you close your door in his face in equal surprise. Talk about jump scare. Well, admittedly that was a bit rude, but you're not exactly in the mood to talk to him. Besides, he can knock if he wants to talk. But nothing happened. How do you feel about this? Disappointed but not surprised? We can say you're surprised, but it sure still sucks. You shrug it off and plant your face on the bed again. What a day, am I right? Huh. You once again settle in your bed, reflecting on the things that happened today. You woke up a monster this morning, tearing your way out of your own skin. You don't hate this as much as you thought, honestly, but it's still one hell of a thing to wake up to. Of course, your family does not react kindly to this change, perhaps you've seen this coming or perhaps not. Thankfully, your sister seems to react a little better than your parents. You stew in these emotions as you stare at the ceiling above you. But no sooner than you start, you let sleep overtake you. And then you wake up to the sound of knocking. You wake up to see your dad open the door and pushing your sister aside with a bunch of things.
Breakfast?
She hands you your breakfast.
And I guess I'll leave this here too. I guess Dad wanted you to have it.
She places a bunch of books and photo albums on your bedside. She leaves as quickly as she enters, leaving you with all these items. What do you want to do? Take a look at the items, yeah. Curious, your eyes head towards the various items your sister placed in your room. A photo album and some of your childhood favorite books. Before even you manage to grab one of those, you hear the click of the bedroom door being locked. Okay, that sucks, but well. You briefly hear incoherent mumblings, but your full attention still lies in these items left behind. You hear an argument between your sister and your dad, followed by the slam of what you can only assume is the front door. You aren't even surprised anymore. Anyway, now that we're all out of the house, you have the opportunity to look at the items. Photo albums. It's a tattoo photo album containing photos when you were a baby, up until your graduation a few years ago. It also has photos of your little sister, as well as your parents. You let your curiosity overtake you as you browse through the photos. Baby photos, photos of you making your sister cry, oh no, and a bunch of other things from your childhood. There's a photo of your sister crying after you threw plastic bags at her. And another when you got into a scuffle and ruined her haircut. Yeah. You remember getting scolded a hell a lot after both of these events. There are school photos with your classmates from your and your sister's yearbooks. You barely remember them save for a few. They've largely left your life now. I mean, I probably remember most of those people from my life, but they in the 99% left my life. Oh, and although remember being close to them in your childhood, you can't help but wonder, were you only friends because you were stuck together all day? Yeah. You quickly lose contact with them finishing school. And honestly, you don't really care enough to reach out to them again. Can't help but wonder how they are for. What are the chances that anyone aside from you turned out to be a monster too? Funnily enough, if you reach out to someone, they be like, "Oi, why didn't you talk to me for all that time?" And you're like, I mean, did you talk to me all that time? No, so what's your point? They kinda try to put the blame on you, right? That you're not in contact. But it's really sort of fault of both sides. Anyway, it can just be you, right? You look at the last page of the album. Your graduation photo is missing from it. It's with you right here, after all. Kinda cute that they decided to display and frame this one. Or at least you think that if only this all didn't happen. You contemplate putting the photo back in the album, but ultimately decide not to. You're not even sure they let you keep this one once they realize you can't turn back. It might be nostalgia speaking, but still want to keep the memories of good times with you. You decide to keep the picture, now placing it inside the dresser before they notice, and take it away as with everything else. Done looking, you set aside the album. Now what? I mean the books. You look at the books they left you. Funny, most are children books you haven't touched in ages. Looking at gives you a small blast from the past. Looking back, there was a point where you stopped sharing your life with your family. It's no surprise that they only had stuff from when you were still a little kid. You wonder when this started happening. It is also quite telling of how they see you. As no more than a little kid still. Do you really think this is all you're into? You go through the books anyway, reading through them quick, and you realize, while they're good books, they don't bring you the same joy as when you were a child. It's obvious to see that you've outgrown them. Either way, they do provide a little entertainment while you're locked up in here for the day. You gladly look over the books, they still bring you a measure of joy. If only things were still that easy. Children's books can only distract you for so long. You set them aside once you're done looking through them. Now what? You're done looking. You vaguely understand that he's doing this because he's hoping for you to turn back human or whatever. But you already know the futility of it. You look at the items, feeling only the vague feeling that these were important moments to you before. But now, there is nothing more but cute little piles of trash. Ah well, you hope they'll take it back later. If anything, you pity him for trying to so hard for something impossible. While some part of you long to go back to how things were, that's just not possible. Who knows? You set them items aside. Locked in your room, with not much else to do, you simply idle about it in your room. Sure, you have plenty of unfinished business, but none of that really matters now, does it? With no one to talk to, nothing to do, and nowhere else to go. It isn't so wild to think about running away, right? Still, you take one last cursory look around the room. You look at the piece of the skin resting on the armchair near your bed. It doesn't look much like you anymore. In fact, it barely looks like anything anymore. You almost can't believe that it used to be human, that it used to be a part of you. Is it time to let it go? I guess we don't really have choice here. Yes. It is nothing but a fragile little shell you can no longer hide in. It easily falls apart under your monstrous hands. You never had a choice in the first place. Its facade quickly becoming unrecognizable. Soon only one of you will remain. You give it one last goodbye. It slips through fingers like sand, but you lean in anyway. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you! Thank you, and goodbye. The last remnants of the facade is nothing but a pile of white. You open the windows and let it scatter. You look as they fly freely, the winds and the freshness of the air just beckoning you to leave your gilded little cage. You take a tentative step out, your feet touching the ground outside with a generous toot. The fence is a bit high to climb, but it is difficult for your claws to dig into them. You tumble outside clumsily, for a second worried that someone's seen you. But the lushness of the forest and the feel of the fresh air on your skin washes away your worries. The grass and the ground and the crunching of leaves all feels so good. Adrenaline rushing in your blood, the twigs and wind bouncing off your hair and skin. When was the last time you felt this free? Your clothes, your armored skin, and your heart all long to be out there. You take your time in the forest and watch darkness settle as the sun sinks back in the horizon. But as darkness hits, fear starts to seep in. The forest is wild and unfamiliar. You know no one and nothing out here. And despite the longing, you don't know if you can call it home. You look back at the fence building that familiar little cage. It is then that you realize that you have nowhere to go but home. You carefully climbed the backyard fencing and was hoping to creep back inside unnoticed. But of course things are never that easy.
What do you think you're doing, you crazy monster?
Oh shit! What if the neighbors saw him? We're gonna get evicted for sure!
Do you realize what you just did? Are you insane going out like that? See what I told you can't reason with this thing.
It was useless after all.
You stupid piece of shit. You're not leaving this place, you parasite. Do you even realize what you just did? Don't you realize that we're pregnant by letting you stay here? Why can't you just be grateful? I shouldn't even be surprised. You're no better than an animal after all.
Yurda rushed past, tools in hand. Seems like they're determined to keep you in no matter what. He winces with each hit of the hammer behind you as he boards out the window.
What do you think will happen if someone saw you? They'll call the cops, you know.
And if I see boarded windows, will they not do the same?
And what do you think they'll do to a disgusting monster like you? They'll get rid of a monster like you, that's what. And you know what? Maybe you deserve it.
It's done.
Get inside. And this time stay inside.
You hear the click of the door, followed by its locks. In the darkness, you can barely see anything, not even your hands. You can barely see the crack of light from under the door. You hear the front door open, it must be Maisie. You stick your ear to the wall, listening in.
I can find him! Don't worry about that. That thing came back on its own and it sure won't be getting out anytime soon. Maybe it would be better if it doesn't come back here. Let it be someone else's problem. That's...
She's right, it didn't help after all. And you can afford to lose this house.
I told you it was a lost cause. He's gone.
Silence envelops the house as a foreboding feeling sinks into you. Morning for you when you're right here. They've written off you dead. You off dead. They don't even consider you human, let alone family. This no longer a place you can belong to. Anywhere else would be better than here. You shouldn't have come back. There was nothing like for you here. It was wrong to come back, you conclude. I mean, the sister at least seems like, you know, she doesn't have that approach. You need to leave. You need to get out of here. Even the wilderness would be better place than this suffocating home. They've boarded up your bedroom window, and while you can try to pry it open, there is no way they won't hear you do so. Huh. But there is still the bathroom window for... Huh. Sure, it's a little small, but it's your best bet. You feel your way around the darkness, opening the bathroom door as softly as you can. You creep in the faint moonlight from your bathroom window, guiding you. The window is a little high up, but the toilet right below gives you the extra height you need to reach it. You contort yourself to try and fit into the window. The exoskeleton makes it difficult, and the gentle cracking noise alarm you. But you push through anyway. Whether it is your exoskeleton or the window that breaks doesn't matter to you. You already know that you won't leave this place uninjured. What's most important is that you get out of here alive. You land with a thud louder than you expect. You hear the door of your room opening. Huh. And you run. You keep running. You run until you don't hear the screams anymore. You look past your shoulder, the house becoming smaller and smaller with every step you take. And soon it disappears from your sight. You look back one last time. A pang of longing hits you. And yet, at the same time, relief. The place you called home is no more. But the world is so wide, you'll find a new one. You have to. Ending 4. Run away!
Na 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 na.
Ladies and gentlemen, this game has 5 endings. It's been made for Spooktober 2023, obviously. Link in the description. Go and get the other endings yourself. Actually, there's a guide apparently. Ending 4. Keep MC from being hateful. Yeah, he was not hateful. But ensure that he doesn't get too close to a certain character. Oh. Huh. Maybe? Anyway, I mean... I'm sure there is more happening, obviously. But as I mentioned, I downloaded quite a few games because of Spooktuber and so on. So, that being said, we'll finish it right here, right now. If you turn into a monster, what could happen, huh? I mean, I guess, like, family basically becoming sort of hateful towards you. Does not surprise me. Then again, the question is this about, you know, turning into a monster or whatever, or just how your personality can change when you grow up and so on, and how because of that you are viewed by people? Maybe I'm looking too deep into that, but maybe I'm not. Who knows? I don't. Anyway, that was enjoyable, not gonna lie. I'm gonna be checking the rest of the endings, definitely, for sure, on my own. You do that as well, please. Link in description. In the meantime, also, you know, the usual like, subscribe, and so on. Always appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow in the next game. Bye bye.